Shalom, my name is Rico Cortes with Wisdom and Torah Ministries. I am delighted to be with you, and I want to share with you a few things about the Day of Atonement, but I'm going to connect it with the book of Hebrews. Some very important findings that we have discovered, in the book of Hebrews. Now, have you ever considered studying the book of Hebrews in the context of the Day of Atonement? But have you ever considered studying the book of Hebrews in the context of the Day of Atonement in the year of Jubilee? Now you see, in the Bible, we are commanded in Leviticus chapters 25 and 26 to keep the sabbatical years every 7 years. On the 49th year, you declare the Jubilee, so the 50th is freedom and forgiveness of debt to all of Israel. Now, what amazes me about the character of the God of Israel is that every 7 years, you get to exercise the character of God through you. He provides for you, then you let the land rest. But on top of that, you forgive the debt of your neighbor, of your brother. Love your neighbor as yourself. So every 7 years, for 49 years, the cycles of sevens, you are able to forgive your brother's debt and help them get out of debt and oppression. Give them freedom. And on the 50th year, however, the Creator is reciprocal and gives you your debt and your freedom, and leads you away from oppression. That's the character of the God of Israel. Now, the book of Hebrews is dealing with the same context. Let us read in Hebrews chapters 9, verse 22. Let's read together, okay? This is really interesting, and I hope and I pray that it's a blessing to you. It says, "Indeed, nearly everything is purified with blood, according to the Torah, according to the law. And apart from the shedding of the blood, there is no forgiveness." But in some Bibles, it says remission. Now, what's interesting is the word that you see there in Greek is the word aphesis. Now, the word aphesis is a word that you must consider looking deeper into. Okay, so let's make some quick definitions of the word aphesis. When you go from the Greek and you take it to the Septuagint, the word aphesis, which means release, which means remission, not just forgiveness of sins, is deeper than that. It's in the context of the Day of Atonement. Watch this. Of the 50 or so instances that the word aphesis appears in the Septuagint, 22 of the 50 times, the Septuagint is the Greek translation of the Hebrew Bible, okay? 22 are found in Leviticus 25 and 27. Now, when you find the word aphesis in the Greek, it translates in the Hebrew as Yovel. The word Yovel means Jubilee. And 5 of those 50 times is found in the book of Deuteronomy, chapters 15, verse 1 through 9. And it's the Hebrew word samach, which means release, but it's from debt in the year of Jubilee. In general, it is more often used of the release of captives and slaves. Now I understand why Yeshua quoted Isaiah 61, verse 1, when he started his ministry in Luke, chapters 4. Only once does the word aphesis appear in the sense of forgiveness. Leviticus 16, verse 26. And there is without a Hebrew equivalent used as an interpretation of Azazel, which is the scapegoat that takes the sins of Israel into the wilderness away from Israel. It is used relatively seldom in the sense of forgive. Where it is, it usually renders the Hebrew word nasa, to release from guilt or punishment, as we see in Genesis 18, Psalm 25, 18. And 32, 1 and 5. But let me read a little farther down. It says, the occurrence of aphemi and aphesis thus indicates that they are not the words chiefly used in the Septuagint to convey the concepts of forgiveness. Now, with that being said, we have to consider something that happens. I'm going to take you to the verse here. You can see this word aphesis in the pie chart that I have here. And in the Hebrew, you can read some of the words. Doro, release of slaves, Shemitah, and you have, the Jubilee and things like that. So what does it say? Let's read this verse now. "Indeed, nearly everything is purified with blood, and according to the law. And apart from the shedding of blood, there's no forgiveness, and there's no Jubilee." Ladies and gentlemen, the message of the book of Hebrews is trying to teach us that Yeshua was given the work of Messiah as our Redeemer, and as a high priest in the heavenly realm, gave us the freedom from death. The Lord forgave the debt that was introduced in the garden that caused the separation between God and humanity. Yeshua now has allowing us through the work of redemption that the debt is paid. The Father forgave our debt. We have been remission, released from our debt. Now we can all return to Eden. The Romans were the Jews in the first century were looking for the freedom from the oppression of the Romans. But now Messiah is giving us a greater freedom from death. We can return to the garden. May the Lord bless you and keep you. I pray these teachings are edifying to you.